guys, I'm Callie.
And I'm Bean.
And today we're going to be talking about our top 3 favorite books in the month of June that we read.
Yes.
Yeet.
And we're going to go in the order that we read them because
that's what we thought of.
Because we're tired today.
So my first book is The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I read all 3 of her poetry collections this month. This one was probably my favorite. So this is a poetry collection about inspiring women to kind of take control of themselves. I found that there was a lot of really important one-liners that really struck with me. So overall, I gave this one 5 stars just because it was just so powerful. It was a quick read. I think this book took me like a half hour to read. But it was just so powerful. I don't know how many times I can say that, but it was.
And trigger warnings for everything.
Trigger warnings for everything under the sun.
Literally, she even writes out the warnings.
She did, which I found very cool. So I like the voice. I love the poems. And they still told a story, which I thought was really cool.
All right, the first book I'm going to talk about here is Howl's Moving Castle by Dianne Wayne Jones. This is a reread for me, and I loved this book the first time I read it. Howl's Moving Castle is one of my favorite movies, and so when I found out that there was a series, I couldn't say no, and I had to read it, and it is so great. I think this book is hilarious. I think there's a lot more character development. Obviously, it is a bit longer than the movie had time to be. The movie really romanticizes things. This takes the very sassy, sarcastic approach to things, which I absolutely loved. And we get to know Howl a bit more, and you kind of learn some stuff about him, which I think is really awesome. And you learn more about the Witch of the Waste and all sorts of things. It's really a lot of fun, and I highly recommend this book.
So next, I read Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. I was in a horror mermaid mood, so naturally pick this book up because someone keeps hinting that I should have read it.
It is
sooner. And this was so good. I really enjoyed it. It was scary as all hell, and not in a horror movie kind of sense, more as in a this is actually kind of plausible sense, kind of horrifying. So this follows a research vessel trying to find out what happened to a previous research vessel that tried to find mermaids. And lo and behold, they find them. And lots of bad things happen. Mermaids are hungry. They have tasted man flesh.
And they like man
and
flesh.
They liked it.
Yes.
So, it was really good. It was really suspenseful. Kept me on my toes. I loved the way it was almost kind of like a mystery as well. There was just a lot of really good qualities about this book, so I gave it a 4.5, so I really enjoyed this one.
The next book I'm going to talk about is Natalie Tan's book of Luck and Fortune by Roselle Lim. I do not have a physical copy of this. I read the ebook, and I really enjoyed this one. I also gave this one a 5-star, and this one follows Natalie as she comes home. She's about 28 years old, I believe. She comes home for the first time in about 7 years due to the death of her mother, and she learns that her mother has left her grandmother's long-abandoned restaurant. And now in this restaurant, her grandmother made recipes that basically healed the human soul in ways. The recipes she made would help people with love, with luck, with any sort of thing, and Natalie learns that she can also help her suffering town by cooking some recipes there as well. But it's all about her kind of finding herself. It's very much a feel-good story. There is a bit of romance in there. It is insta-lovey, but it's still cute. So I was okay with it.
Fair enough. The last one that I read is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I just finished Arch Enemies a couple days ago, but I still think Renegades is probably my favorite. It was action-packed. It's superheroes and anti-heroes. It's not like a typical, especially with all the stuff with Marvel and DC and all of that. I thought that this was going to be such a predictable superhero story. It's not. We follow two characters, one who is like a superhero and is a renegade, the other is Nova, who's trying to take down the renegades from within. So it's really two perspectives, and they're just usually in superhero movies, more so in like Marvel than DC, but you know which side is the good side. In this, you don't. I find myself when we're switching perspectives between Nova and Adrian, that when I'm in Adrian's, I'm like, yeah, the superheroes are great, and they're awesome, and they're doing good, and then when it's Nova, it's like, the superheroes suck. They're repressing these villains, and these villains are great, and they deserve better, and it's a weird confliction that I'm not okay with. But I think that has something to say about the writing of it, is the writing just, I think it's supposed to create that complication where it's not black and white, just like in the real world. There's corruption, there's a lot of things that are actually, like, real. So I really enjoyed this book, and I'm really excited for Supernova to come out in November.
Fair enough.
Because I need answers.
Yes, I know. And the last book I'm going to talk about is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McQuire, a.k.a. Mira Grant. They are the same person. And I absolutely love this one. It's a little short little novella. It's a little short little book, but it is packed full. You get connected to the characters so quickly, and I did enjoy the fact that the entire story was told in this book, and I didn't really feel like I was missing a lot. I've heard so many great things about this book, and it stood up to that. It held up. It was great, and I'm looking forward to reading the next couple books. The next ones are actually prequels to this one, so they actually follow a couple of the characters in this book, their personal journeys, in like their magical world that they had visited as children. So I gave this one 5 out of 5. I read it in one sitting. If you haven't read it, just go read it, because it's really good.
So those are all of our June favorites. We like to only narrow it down to 3, because if not, we would be talking here forever, and it'd just basically be a recent reads, which you get anyway.
Yeah.
So, currently I am reading, well, actually for this, I'm rereading Grace and Fury by Tracy Bangert, in anticipation for Queen of Ruin, which when this video goes out will be the day of its release. So I'm rereading this because I read this upon release last year, so I kind of want to refresh my memory as to what happened and the cliffhanger, and then I can just jump right into Queen of Ruin. It'll be great.
She's excited.
Very excited. I've already pre-ordered it.
And I'm currently working my way through Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is our June book of the month, I suppose.
Yep.
We will have a talk up on this, next week?
Later this week.
Later this week. When this video goes up later this week, we will have a talk. All 3 of us will have read this book. I am, per usual, the last one to read it. This time I really have no excuse. I just didn't pick it up earlier because I do own this one. So, yes, I love Marissa Meyer, so I'm very excited.
So that is all we have for you today. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe.
Hit the little bell icon below if you want to be notified whenever we post videos, which is going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
And all of our information, social media, Goodreads, everything under the sun is down below in the description. And we will see you in our next video. Bye!